There is tension in this place of people, place of factions and sounds. I'm beginning to wonder if this tension in this place is part of what's happening to the Emissary and why we are here. Something is about to happen here, I'm certain of it. And still I can't concentrate on this. I have still a sense of urgency, and I can still hear this low humming, this sound coming from afar, but still so close. The Emissary is calling. Who is this actor Akbar that we're looking for? And what can he tell us about everything? This is Red Moon Roleplaying.
The heat in the junktown of Baybasin is oppressive. Sun rays reflect off of corrugated metal sheets from the makeshift houses and sheds that dominate much of the town. People are toiling in the mines around the clock, and when the day shift is working, the night shift is sleeping or drinking. Meeson's Cantina, where you are now, is the very definition of a shady bar. Dimly lit, and a smell that can only be a mix of perfume, tobacco, sweat, and coho. The bar is tended by two women who look very much alike. Sisters, you reckon. They don't speak much, seeming to prefer to nod, point, or grunt. But they are serving you exactly what you want, even before you have asked for it. Pig has just taken a mysterious call from someone claiming to be their friend, while Farouk has been out looking at the premises belonging to one Rakim Birbasil, the de facto leader of Baybasin and a member of the syndicate. Carlo, meanwhile, is looking over the beacon message, referencing a certain S, likely with the Order of the Pariah, who's concluding business with someone they refer to as Akbar Archer. This person is seemingly responsible for delivery of the stasis beds, likely in charge of the people and dogs on the crawler and the hoverbikes in the jungle. Baybasin doesn't seem to be such a big place, and an Akbar, well, should be possible to find. Maybe someone will know where they are. And yes, Pig, you have now returned from your call, and you were told that Jasmina is supposed to be here in the cantina. Jasmina is with the Shaukar resistance.
I wipe some sweat off my forehead and I come back and I feel really drained of energy. At the same time, something about this feels strangely right. I go up and I go back to the table where the little boy was left with his aubergine stew. Has he eaten it?
He has. He seemed very, very hungry.
Yeah, so I'm sitting down next to him and I start scooping up mine, and I idly eye the bar, looking around for the person with this description that I've been given over the communicator of Jasmina, the Shauka spy.
You only have a name. You don't necessarily have much of a description to go on, but, well, perhaps someone might know?
Yeah, probably. I look at the little boy and the plate of dates. Did he eat those too?
Yes, he has finished everything. He's been a very good boy. He's smiling at you.
I nod. It's he must be pretty messed up now. If those people that back there were his parents, I don't know, maybe family and stuff. But if he's smiling, then that's good, I guess. And I eat, and I say, yeah, that's good. Good, well done. There'll be more of that if you just make sure you stay to the group and keep making yourself useful. Yeah, it's great. Now, I need to find a person. There's a person in here called Jasmina. Would you mind walking around a bit, see if you catch any names, someone talking?
He nods to you.
And then I start finishing up the meal as he walks off, and I eat the rest of it.
The bartender, one of the sisters, comes over to you and nods towards a young woman who's sitting at the other end of the bar. She's got a scar across her face. Can only see on one eye, and the other one is white. Not that strange of a look here. There's a lot of people who have injuries from working in the mines. It seems like she's indicating that would be a person you would be interested in. How could she know that, though? That's very strange.
Things that happen very quickly here. Someone obviously knows how to signal a person that want me to do stuff, so people know people, I guess. I look up at the twin as she is nodding over there, and I say, "Is that Miss J?"
She nods too.
"Thanks." And I give her a little tip.
She smiles, but she doesn't open her mouth.
I see that the kid is still walking around the bar a bit aimlessly, but that's just as fine, as long as it doesn't get into trouble. Where's Farouk and Carlo?
Farouk is out on the town, close to Rakin's compound. Carlo, yes, you are here and you're looking at the message still, using your tabular, I suppose.
Well, I finished my communication with the Judicator was the last thing I actually did prior to looking at this message. So yes, I was waiting around for either Pig or Farouk to return. Have I noticed Pig return?
Pig was gone for a while, and now they're back.
Wonderful. I head over to them, looking a little confused for a moment, going, right, Pig, you're back from whatever you were doing. Probably going getting some food for the boy. Right, come with me, we got things to talk about, and we need to find Farouk.
I was just washing my hands, and you see me now wiping my mouth up the stew, and I nod to the twin owning the bar, and that it's okay for her to go and take my plate if she wants to as well.
She's already taken it.
And I look up to Carlo. We're standing, and I say, "Where do you want us to go? What did you hear?"
Well, I scratch my nose a little, looking annoyed. Although at least I don't look uncomfortable anymore. It seems I'm starting to acclimatize now we're out of the jungle at least. Right, well, you want the good news or the bad news?
Well, just go with the first one.
Well, I'll be quick, because the good news is there is no good news. Bad news. We have fuck tons more to do. Naturally, the people we're after aren't here in Baybasin. The Judicator pretty much confirmed that, and I was thinking it as well, because this place is a backwater no man's town, pretty much. That means we need to get moving from here. But of course, we need to know where we're going. We're going to need to track down Mr. Artir. He's the one who's probably in charge of the moving people around and all that sort of thing. Now, we're going to need to find him, find a way of getting into his compound or area, and basically find any information we can saying where he sends his little cargo transports. That might be finally where we find the godforsaken icon, emissary, whatever. Ugh.
And Farouk, you have just returned back, and you actually hear Carlo saying this.
And hopefully, Carlo, your sister as well.
Yes, Captain, hopefully. What did you find out when you went off?
Nothing much, actually. I just trying to get the lay of the land here in this icon-forsaken place. I kind of wipe my brow from the sweat. Farouk is used to heat, but he's more used to a dry heat. This is a bit too moist for him. He looks pretty uncomfortable.
So, are you saying these land crawlers with the people have been taking them somewhere else? but we don't know where.
That's right. Again, Baybasin's just too small time for the operation they have to be here. So they'll have come through here and then moved on. However, the adjudicator does believe that Mr. Akbar Atir does probably have his holdings here. He's probably the go-to person to get things going and coming.
I see.
Find him and then find a way of getting what we need from him.
Well, what I saw was when I was out washing my hands, I found this flyer and I handed it over to Carlo. I found this. Apparently there's some sort of organization who's trying to stand up to these people, just like you saw in the street. They're called the Shaukar.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with them, Pig. Yeah, they're all over the place, yeah. Always rebelling against something silly. What's important about them?
Well, what's important, I think, is that the people that cut them down, you know, the soldiers here, the people that kind of seem to be in control, they, well, those were wearing armor awfully a lot like the ones that were out with the crawlers, right? You see me a bit uncomfortable.
I give you a bit of a look, and I remark, well, the Syndicate probably is involved in some of the smuggling, yes, but how does that help us get our man and our information?
No, I'm just saying that if this is bigger than Baybasin and the rest of the things, which it obviously is, because the emissaries can send and all that, then maybe it'd be good to gather up some allies. This is what I'm saying.
Allies to what? Rob the place? I mean, you don't need that many people to break into a building and take what we need. Granted, I don't know what his building's like. Maybe it's bigger than I'm thinking.
I mean, if we want to actually sort of infiltrate a place where there's the emissaries being held, it's probably going to be quite tough.
Does anyone of you know anything about these Sugoi?
Well, the Sugoi are the locals. That's as much as I heard. You know, I mean, this is a bit connected to my past and stuff. You know, revolutions that had to be fought back in the Uharu. I don't know. It's probably worth nothing, but I can't help but feel sympathy for the people here who are oppressed by them.
I let out a bit of a scoff, but let's say nothing else.
I smile at you, Pig, and nod. Maybe that would be a place to look for allies if we truly need some?
I think so, and if I'm not mistaken, there's one of them here in the bar, someone that I'm positive I've seen before and heard mentioned in these kind of circumstances. That one over there. And I turn my head and I nod towards the woman that was pointed out to me before.
And just as you do that, the little boy points towards her as well. He looks very proud.
I say, Jasmina, that's her name. I think she's one of the Shaukar spies in here. I think she would be one of those interested in stirring up trouble for those who, well, have grabbed our quarry.
You're going off on an awful lot here, Pig. The Sugoi are interested in revolution. To help them out, we need to be doing things to help the revolution. Which is great and all, except when what we want is to get a bit of information to find out where we need to go. They're gonna want a lot. You know, like, oh, I don't know, raid this place or kill these people. Captain, I'm surprised that that's something that interests you.
You know I have a soft spot for people in need of help, Carlo. But I don't know. It's hard. We don't know. The emissary is still alive, but will it continue to be? Do we have time for this, or should we move on quickly? Maybe it's better we just, follow the tracks to wherever they lead and try to retrieve him quickly instead.
I mean, it's different if they are actually somewhere nearby, but if they're not in Baybasin and they're somewhere completely different, well, the Sugoi aren't going to be, oh, thanks for helping us do this, we'll now give you 10 men. They've been fighting their rebellions for years.
Well, I'm just saying that in the chaos that we could create, maybe we could, grab one of the land crawlers or something else. I just think, I think it could be a benefit to us. You know about the, about Rakeen, right? Rakeen Baybasin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that if we do something that stumps her organization, then I think that could be really helpful.
Pissing off the entire syndicate is really helpful. The Burbasils are big in the syndicate, Pig. You do know that, right? It's not just a little family. They're one of the main ones. Now, I don't know that much about the syndicate, but I know enough to know that of all the enemies we currently have, do we really want to have another one?
No, I'm not saying that we do it as I mean, we're just mercenaries. We're freelancers. That's what we've always been, right? I mean, except for when we worked with Al-Khalim, but we could do this, and I think we could get away with some good stuff for it.
Oh, I see. And I sort of give a knowing nod. I see, Pig. You wanna shove it to the Xenephians and do some work on the side. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. But the thing is, we have a time frame here. I'm all for doing jobs in other places, but doing a job right now here, it's a little bit off kilter. I want to find my sister as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I understand that. But maybe they can help us with transport. Just get us in the right direction, get us some more connections.
Okay, how about this? Let's spend 2 more hours in this place and see what information we can extract. If we find nothing useful that can lead us on to the next track for getting to the Emissary, then maybe we can do what Pig suggests and try to seek help from the locals.
Yeah, I mean, we could do both at the same time. Just check out what our possibilities are. I could talk to her, and if you got some other leads, then you could follow up on those, and then we can reconvene. I mean, I just
talk to her, find out what is what, but please don't really commit to anything until we know what happens here.
I kind of shrug a little and sort of lean back against what I was leaning on, a sort of wooden beam in the cantina, and I go, "All right, Captain, you're the captain. If you want that to be investigated, then we'll do it. But I'm surprised it's all at you. There's going to be a lot of bloodshed getting the Sagai involved."
I didn't say we are getting them involved. I'm saying let's try to move on, and if we can't, then we will get them involved.
Well, fair enough. I'm going to go and see what sort of setup Mr. Artir actually has. If it is an armed compound with, I don't know, a lot of armed men, then I will admit, Pig, maybe getting the Sagoi to cause some chaos that distracts them could be a good in to getting into his compound. I'll give you that, but it just seems overly complicated, Pig.
Alright, but what do you want from the compound?
The information on where the convoys are going. That's all we need.
Yeah, okay. Well, if this could help, then that's one way to get that, and then we could get going. But you check that out if you think you feel confident of just infiltrating it yourself and extracting it, then yeah, sure. I'll see what they say.
Fair enough. Well, I'm not going to go speaking to any Sagoi. They're going to shoot me on sight.
Just a thought that occurred to me. If the Order of the Pariah is involved in this, and they are the one kidnapping everyone, they would need either a spaceport to get them out of here as well, or a base of operations, which I find pretty unlikely, as they are not so friendly to these parts of the Third Horizon.
Well, I don't know actually. I mean, the Order of Pariah seems to have been mostly helping these people out for whatever purpose, but it's actually someone else that they're doing it for. I'm not sure if that's how it actually is, but that's how I kind of understood it.
There's a lot of fingers in this pie. It's getting a bit confusing, to be honest. But I do know that the Judicator seemed quite convinced that at least Baybasin is only a drop-off area and not our final destination, unfortunately.
Let's move out and see what we can find out.
All right.
Alright, so what will happen then is that Carlo and Farouk, you will be moving out, or will you be remaining here and seeing what Pig does in their conversation with Jasmina?
I am going to move out because I will say to Pig in passing, you know what, Pig, this is pretty ambitious of you, but go ahead and have fun, but I'm definitely not talking to any Segoy. I mean, they're probably gonna, at best, punch me in the face, at worst, shoot me. I can change my voice, but I still look Zenithian.
I nod towards you and I'm wiping some more sweat off my forehead. Yeah, I get that. But, you know, my lips are sealed. And I give a funny little smile.
And just remember, they're not the good guys. I know you hate all Zenithians and all you first-comers are the best in the world, but Segoy kill just as easily as Zenithians do. They just want what they think belongs to them. They don't care how they get it.
Carlo, you seem very invested in this.
I come from Kua, remember? Okay, I'm part of the sprawl beneath the monolith, but still.
Yes, so you tell us. Let's go and let Pig do whatever Pig does best. And if you don't mind, I think it's best we stick together, you and I.
Of course, Captain. Can't leave you to get in trouble. I was a bit suspicious of Pig for a moment there. It was weird of them, but I get it now. They want to show off, sock it to the Zenithians, join a revolution. Maybe it would cheer them up. I don't know.
And you leave Misan's cantina, and Pig, well, there she is. She has been eyeing you ever since, especially the boy pointed towards her, but she has made no attempt at trying to leave the place.
So as I see them leave, I take out my little bottle of skin lotion. I get out the last drip of it and then put that on the table. And I walk over to her, rubbing my hands together. And I bow and I say, "You are Jasmina, are you not?"
That would be correct. You see her, both her, the eye that she has that she can see on and the white eye. It's like as if they're both looking towards you, although you can't really explain how a white eye can look at you, but that's how it feels like.
As you can tell, I have a very sophisticated spy network, and I'm pointing over at the little boy.
She smiles.
And you probably can tell that we are not from around here, me and my companions. We are looking to gain some allies, and I understand that you might be someone to talk to if we want to stir stuff up.
How could you help us to stir stuff up?
I have it on good information that Miss Baybasin is not doing her job properly, and that she might be someone, a loose thread in an organization, worth trying to get a hold of.
Could you roll me a manipulate here just to see how well you're able to get this across?
Sure. I don't get a success. I'm wringing my hands a bit nervously, and it's obvious that I'm not the kind of guy that does this normally. The only thing that would prove imposing or convincing about me is my forearms, my scars, and the accelerator rifle slung across my back.
She eyes you a little bit skeptically. Well, there is perhaps something that you can do. You are unknown, at least as of yet. Perhaps you can offer Rakeen some information.
Yeah, sure. We are curious about their base here anyway. Do you know if she's associated with an Akbar Arthur?
Arthur Golem? I'm sure she has dealings with him. If you want anything smuggled off to the conglomerate, he's the guy to go to. And there's a lot of things here that needs to go to the conglomerate. That's where all the action happens, after all. But, yes, he deals with a lot of people. And so does she.
What would you like me to let her know?
You could perhaps let her know that we have a weapons cache. Yeah. You can let her know where our weapons cache is. And then, well, it's probably best that you don't know more than that, to be honest. Just in case you end up in our torture cell. You, aren't the most convincing person, you know?
She
says and smiles.
Smile nervously. I understand. So, you expecting she'll want to deal with that personally?
I'm expecting that she's going to do something about that. Her forces are not unlimited. And she might just trust what you have to say. We could use that.
So how do I find her?
Her house is the most opulent one there is in the north part of town. It's a big compound with a big fence. Armed guards. Beautiful garden. Have to give her that. You will find her.
Fine. Good. Let me know if there's anything else. Otherwise, I'll try and have a chat with her.
She pushes over a map to you with a location marked. This should be everything that she needs.
I take a look at it. And, fine. I'll see how I can get that across. Thanks. I'll see you around.
She nods. I'm sure you will. You definitely will.
I nod at the little boy and I start moving out of the place, leaving a few extra beer at the table I was sitting.
And as you leave, the bartender smiles to you, and just for a moment you think you can see her forked tongue. And you leave Misan's Cantina. You're back on the streets of Baybasin. And we move to Farouk and to Carlo. What have you been doing?
Well, I shall attempt to lead and see if we can't find where Mr. Akbar Artir does business.
Indeed. So how do you intend to go about that?
I look to the captain and I say, I suppose we could always start with the most honest approach. Find out who we buy a good slave from.
Yeah.
Or worker, or however you want to put it.
But do we look the part of people looking for slaves or workforces?
We don't look the part, but if I put on my Zenithian a little and you put on your Dobrani, then we seem a little more legit.
Granted that we are refined, but our clothes scream crawling through jungles, don't they?
They do.
We're not here to do the buying ourselves, we're here to represent the would-be buyer's interest.
So you begin looking for a place to buy slaves, or a way to buy slaves. Is that it, or are you asking specifically for Archer?
I actually think it might be the wrong way going around, given that we kind of have a revolution on our throat here. Maybe we shouldn't just start asking for buying people.
Well, I'm leaving it in your hands, Captain. I could just start asking for Akbar, but something tells me that will be even more suspicious. Basically, we need to find out where he is. This place isn't that big. Someone's going to know.
Well, we should find someone either in his employ or someone that opposes his business here, I guess, to get more information.
Although then it occurs to me, and I sort of tap my chin as I start leading you forwards into the throng of Baybasin. Although we could always just keep an eye out for any large crawlers. It occurs to me there's probably not actually that many. And he had a lot.
Let's just poke around a bit, and if we find someone that seems like a good person to talk to, maybe we should.
So Carlo will start wandering close by to Farouk and just start observing Baybasin, keeping an eye out for people who either look similar to those we saw in the jungle, or people who seem to have crawlers or the hangars where those sort of things would be stored. Like you said, Baybasin isn't very big, so I'm hoping that there's not going to be too many locations where that many crawlers could be kept.
Alright, so you begin looking for those things. We go back then to Pig. So Pig, you have exited now. What do you do next? You do not necessarily know where Carlo and Farouk are, and you have the thing that you're supposed to do. What do you do next?
I come out in the street and I look from side to side. How big is this? I mean, it's a pretty big town, is it?
Yeah, it's fairly big. It's definitely got a few thousand people living in it. It's not massive though. It's basically centered around this mine, or these coltan mines, and the coal mine, and then the people who are trying to hunt and forage and farm in the forest. But it does supply some people. That's true.
I look around and see if I see that street urchin that summoned me earlier.
You do not see that urchin. That one is gone.
I scratch the back of my neck, and I look around, and I start walking around, and I'm trying to look for this palace that was mentioned, or maybe even some of the guards that I know would be associated with Rakeen, like the ones that we saw before that are trying to keep order in the town.
Alright, so you begin looking for Rakeen Birbasil's domains, and it isn't actually particularly difficult to find. It is, most of the houses here are kind of bent out of shape, kind of huts made out of corrugated metal and jungle wood, but then there are some proper houses, and they're in the northern part of town. And here, behind a high brick wall that's decorated with beautiful mosaics and crowned with broken glass, you spot the upper floors of a whitewashed headquarter. It's a grand mansion that really stands out from the rest of the settlement with its clean walls and sophisticated design. And just as Jasmina said, there's a beautiful garden. This must be it.
I think to myself. I look down at the kid and I say, "It's pretty grand, isn't it?"
He nods enthusiastically.
Do you come from something like this? Do you come from a rich family?
He shakes his head.
Yeah. Were you born on Coriolis?
What do you think? Was he?
I have no idea, but I figure as much. It seems to be that's where they have been gathering people and sending them off from.
Then he nods.
I see. Well, you're used to city life then, more so than me, I guess. Are there guards here posted around here? Is it a big fence? What does it look like?
Yes, there is a high brick wall, and there is a gate that opens up here, and there is guards with Vulcan carbines that are standing outside guarding it. You see red poppies that grow all the way up to the outer walls. There's also a couple of warehouses close by that looks like they belong to the Birbasils.
I move up to the guards, holding the map in one of my hands, and I say, Hey.
And what do you want?
I got some information for you.
Yeah? What kind of information?
Well, I just made it into town, and I've been scouting around a bit. I'm with a friend who's trying to make a big impression on Miss Birbasil, and he's been snooping around and found out some information about the Shao Ka and things that they have been. Well, I lean in closer. They got some kind of arms warehouse, weaponry and stuff. I thought it could be valuable information.
He looks to you and he looks to the map, and then he speaks to the other guard. Wait here a minute. and he moves into the compound.
I nod to the boy. See, kid, we're gonna get rich. Maybe I'll get a few beer for this.
He comes back soon after and nods and shows you in.
I'm a bit surprised at this. I figured I'd just hand it over here and maybe get a little reward, but I shrug and say I must seem important. I follow him.
And you have your accelerator rifle with you, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Then he nods to that. You mind leaving that here? It's not that I don't trust you, but I don't trust you.
Yeah, you might want to take this as well. And I hand over my little Vulcan pistol too.
He knows. You'll get it back, don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. It's just business.
And yes, you're shown through a beautiful garden and into this whitewashed headquarter. It really is completely different from the rest of the town. It's clear that all of the riches and the money from here is being basically funneled into this place, into this family. And you're actually led all the way up to Rakeen. There's 2 guards with carbines present in the room right next to her. She's wearing a mask, Zenithian mask. She has black hair with grey highlights, dressed in a black jalaba with the Birbasil family pattern embroidered on hems and collar. She wears a curved dura knife in a jeweled sheath strapped across her chest. The mask that she's wearing has a look of disappointment on it that's locked permanently.
Is it similar to that one of the youth that we met back on our ship?
Quite similar. Come, sit. You are new, she says, and she sits down at in a opulent chair and takes some tea that she's drinking, and you are served some as well.
I sit down. I try to straighten up and look good. Yeah, that's right. Just made it quite recently into town.
Outsiders always bring opportunities or trouble. I wonder which one you are.
Yeah, that's what I hear as well. I'm not even local to the planet. I'm from O'Hara's system myself. But I traveled far and I'm running out of cash. So I've been looking for work, and I came across a little minor dealer, an agent. His name is Deseron Kai. All he was asking was that I help with some favors, and maybe come talk to you, ask you to look kindly upon his operations in case, well, you'd come across them. All he wanted was that he'd give you a bit of information as a sign of goodwill.
Deseron, she nods as if she knows exactly who you're talking about. Yes, I know. I know of him. Yes, so what is this information then?
This information is that there's an organization that I understand you're having trouble with. They call themselves something like the Shaukar or something. I look down at a flyer as if I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, the popular uprising.
Yeah.
They wish to destroy the good thing we have going here. We're able to feed this entire community thanks to the Birbasil family businesses. Ungrateful is just the beginning of it.
You don't honestly seem to have that much trouble with them, is that? I mean, I noticed some commotion in the street and a guy basically just got stabbed and thrown away, and that was that.
We are keeping them under control thus far, but there's a lot of them. There's not so many of us.
Yeah, I understand that much, but your hardware is far superior, right?
You could say that.
Yeah. So the deal is that some of them seem to have come across a bit of hardware. Some kind of, I don't know if it's more than Vulcan carbines and stuff. Probably nothing serious, but the information that my employer wanted to relay was that they have stashed up a bit of it in a warehouse in the area, and well, it could be beneficial if that was looked upon by, well, some of your associates.
She leans over closer towards you and looks at you very, very carefully. I want you to roll for manipulate here.
I'm so out of my waters. Why couldn't Farouk have helped me out? I'm thinking to myself, and I try to meet the gaze head on. And I send a prayer as I stand there, shaking a bit in my boots. And I pray to the merchant that what I'm trying to peddle here will come across. I get a success on my 2 dice.
That's quite amazing. She nods. You know, if they tried running things, nothing would actually change. Because keeping the mines going requires cheap labor. You try to, democratize the process and their product will become too expensive. We won't be able to compete with the other systems. The whole operation will die and a few thousand people will lose their livelihoods. But hey, at least then people can pretend that they did something good, right?
Yeah, I would be inclined to agree.
Look, you didn't come here to give me things for free, right? So aside from looking kindly upon your friend, if I come across him, what is it that you would like in return?
Well, me personally, I could always use a bit more work. I mean, I'm just a messenger here, where I'm used to more hands-on kind of matters, particularly when it comes to technology and weaponry.
Excellent. Why don't you join the raid on the compound then?
Yeah, I suppose I could do that.
Excellent. Then it is an agreement that we have. Drink your tea, she says, and you're served some other refreshments as well. And the boy has been with you as well, right?
Yeah.
He looks at you with a worried look, having heard this thing about the raid. And we go back to Farouk and Carlo. You have indeed located Arthur Golam, because that is his name, Arthur Golam's offices. It's a company called Gol Akandra that's located in the business district near the spaceport. It looks like most of the other houses in Baybasin. It's low and a bit crooked, built from jungle wood and sheets of corrugated metal. There's a door, and it is closed. There's no activity here at all. The place looks closed, actually. It looks as if there's no business going on there. There's actually, even now that you look at it, there's a sign that says closed.
Just a question. When we move through the city, do we see signs of these crawlers? I mean, they have been easy to track up until now, at least.
Inside of the town, there's quite a lot of crawler activity going to and from the mine and moving further into the and moving towards the farmlands around. So you were able to track it quite easily here, but then of course in the town there's a lot of vehicle activity going on. So it's difficult to track, use that particular thing to track, but you don't have any problems finding this company. It is rather clear.
There we go, Captain. This is what I thought we'd find. Of course, now the question is, they are closed. Do we try and knock on the door now, or do we wait for nightfall?
Well, can't we just go and see if there's a back door that they forgot to lock?
We certainly can, Captain. I'm just concerned about the time of day. As I'm saying this, I start just casually looking around, seeing how many eyes could be on us, if there are any local security forces nearby, that sort of thing.
You've seen some militia moving around, not with exos, just normal soldiers. They look poorly disciplined, but they do have bigger guns than the resistance that you have seen. They are pestering locals and, getting protection money, doing the kind of things that a corrupt militia might do.
We could always walk round the back. And I will just casually take a few steps forward from Farouk and just start pacing around the building. Trying to appear discreet, but seeing if there are any back doors or windows or anything like that that could be used to get in quickly.
Then we shall have you roll for something here. We shall have you roll for infiltration.
I get 1 success.
It is not as if it's that heavily guarded of a location, really. You haven't noticed anyone in particular who's looking out for it. It seems deserted. It seems as if the people who cared about this place are actually no longer here. You do find a back door, and you are surprised to find that it is unlocked.
I raise an eyebrow towards Carlo. A little bit too convenient?
Or it implies that if something was going on here, they've already moved on. I kind of jiggle the door open, looking around again quickly. If we're going to go in, we should go in. Up to you, Captain.
After you.
I duck inside.
It is a rather shoddy office. There is a few signs left that identify this as being the facilities of the Gola Kandra Company. The floor is covered in various random things that have been pulled out of drawers. There's a half-empty bottle of Dabarani wine that's on a now empty desk. It seems as if whoever was here has left rather quickly.
My face sort of falls a little as the gears start to move in my mind. I move forward a little and I say aloud, it occurs to me. They're probably aware by now what happened up on Coriolis.
Of course.
Fuck.
Yes.
They know the Judicators are after them, and they're probably covering their tracks.
And they probably know that we're down here on Kua somewhere in their tracks.
Well, they might not know we are.
No, but someone.
Damn it.
And enter strangers walking out of the jungle.
Well, I start looking around anyway, trying to see if there's any, trying to scout the building itself, see if there's anywhere that looks like an office or any computers, but I admit I'm feeling a little crestfallen.
Well, funny you should say that. You're looking for computers, and there is indeed a wall terminal here. It looks old. Probably wasn't worth taking with them. Someone has tried to smash it, but you know that those old Nyala terminals are way tougher than that. You can't really smash them. You might be able to connect to that one.
Excellent. In that case, I will. I'll quickly take out my tablet and just use it to access the computer.
Can you roll data, Jin, then?
Do you really think they left anything of use on that one?
They're not going to have left the answers, Captain, but they might just have left something that gives...
We can pray to the icons that they have left some kind of coordinates or map or shipping logs or anything that can help us.
I roll no successes.
Would you like to pray to the icons?
No.
Then you were unable to find anything on this terminal.
I kind of start trying to access it, and then I just get a few incompatible signals from my security tablet. Oh, blast, it's too fucking old. Ugh! Shit. It's a dead end.
Yeah. Oh, the thing is, I doubt that this Arthur Golem character has been operating in this city without the consent of Miss Baybasin. So she probably knows more about what has happened.
You make a good point, Captain, but how are we going to get an audience with her and get her to help us? Oh, I don't know, just on a whim.
Well, we could go there and claim that we're actually looking for Arthur Golem, as we have things we need moving. And he is the person that you should talk to for that, right? And that we can't find him because his office is empty.
It's a play, Captain. Again, it's dangerous. I don't know, between you and Pig, I'm starting to wonder who you want to piss off more. Ugh, Segoy, Syndicate.
Well, if you have any idea on where to go from here, dear Carlo, please tell me. Because I have no clue.
You see me sort of put my security tablet away and sort of start grinding my teeth as I kind of shrug and say, no, I don't. We're gonna have to try this. Alright, let's see if the syndicate... Maybe if we play it off as if we are interested in doing business and this is a bit of a stopgap.
You're from Kua, right? Are there any exotic and dangerous animals that you're not allowed to smuggle out of here?
I feel I would indeed know of something very much like that, Game Master.
Certainly, yes. There are some exotic animals out in the forest that you're not supposed to be taking as pets, but that people anyways do, and they are rather endangered. Not that people care that much about that, but there are some groups that don't want these species to disappear, so they have successfully petitioned the authorities to, well, at least put down laws prohibiting the transportation of such animals.
Well, are you familiar with Equilibri?
Pardon?
They're, sort of small lemur-like semi-intelligences. We tend to use them for working on plantations. However, there's a really rare variant known as the silver-furred one, and that's quite popular with people. It's very rare. It's definitely seen as a status symbol. It's not the sort of thing... It's not illegal to get it out, but it's definitely something that would draw a lot of tariffs. Okay, yes, we can kind of come across as we want to transport one of those. That could work.
Well, it's best shot we have right now, or unless we want to start wandering into the forest following the tracks. But again, that would be an option if we had a vehicle of some kind. Where is the Red Moon when we need it?
On a space station above our heads.
It might even be worth going up there and getting it just to have it around.
I feel if we call the adjudicator, I can probably arrange for it to be brought to us. Could be a bit easier. Again, we're a bit on a time frame here, especially if they now think the adjudicators are after them. There's no knowing how long they're going to stay at their base and keep people like my sister safe.
And, Pig, we go back to you then. It seems as if this raid is being put together rather quickly, actually. As soon as you've exited the little, snack that you were having with Rakeen, you're moved together with a group of militiamen, and you see that they're starting to prepare to conduct a raid. They're arming up. You hear the clanking of exos close by as well. You ready?
I think to myself that this plan isn't going exactly the way it was intended, but I suppose I'll have to improvise along the way. And hopefully the scenario that he said should take place will take place. Icon's willing. Icons are often willing when it comes to him. Sure. I'm good. And I assume that they have given me my gear back?
Yes, indeed, they have. They looked quite impressed with that accelerator rifle that you had. Oh, that one will work well. Alright, you can be our sniper, okay?
Yeah, sure. I'll keep... is there a good spot nearby?
Yeah, definitely. And they started pointing towards the map of where you should get yourself set up. And they're moving on this immediately. A lot quicker than you had perhaps expected.
So they're a group, and where's Rakeen at this point?
Rakeen remains in the house. You see that she is moved up to a balcony, and she's sort of looking out with binoculars over the city. She seems to be interested in what's going to happen next. There's guards around her, and she's behind what looks to be some kind of protective glass.
Very interesting. I do as they say, though, and I try to locate this spot that they are pointed out on the map, where it would be in the real world.
You see the militiamen begin to stream up towards this warehouse you've set up. And what have you done with the boy? Is he with you still?
Yeah, if I'm gonna take a sniping position, I nod to him and I say, yeah, you stick close to me, alright? And keep your head down if the bullets start flying.
And he nods to you, and maybe you have sold him to the other militiamen as him being your spotter, that he has keen eyes or something like that.
Yeah, I need one of those in case someone comes close and I'm too focused.
That's right. That's right. So you've set up, and the militiamen begin streaming towards the warehouse, and you see how there's not just the militiamen here and the Exos. They're approaching the warehouse, busting through the door, and they're shouting loudly, and they're moving rather quickly and violently towards it. You start to see people in the bushes, in the jungle around this warehouse. They look very much like the people that you saw near the crash site. These are definitely part of the show car, and they're getting ready to strike.
Like the ones that were camouflaged?
Yeah.
In one way, I'm thinking to myself that either way this plays out, maybe I'll win. I don't know. Maybe I'll gain an ally either way. And I'm not gonna take aim at one of those. I'm gonna keep my aim focused on the warehouse and see what happens.
And you realize that, yes, you are in a position here to probably sway this quite definitively. You can give up the position of these people who are creating this ambush, or you can help them. Which path are you going to take? Because they're going to start shooting very soon.
Now, what I'm supposed to be doing is to be helping this Shaukar. I'm supposed to help them until the situation arises that they even grab Rakin. So, that's what I'm gonna have to play along with here. I got my sniping position, and once bullets start flying, they probably won't be able to tell whose is what. So if they start shooting towards these armed men, the ones that I'm supposedly with, then I'll help them.
They start firing. They are attacking the militiamen. And this is your shot then. Do you take it? Do you fire upon the militiamen?
I put my acceler rifle into silence. I see a little flash. I see a little indicator start flashing on it. And yes, I open fire.
And you do, and there's a hail of bullets that descend upon the militiamen who's raiding the warehouse, and they fire back. And we move to Farouk and Carlo. You hear all of a sudden how a minor war has started in the warehouse. There's a warehouse district that's right between the north and the southern part of town. It's making a lot of noise. What do?
I stop for a moment, hold up my hand to step in front of Farouk. Captain. Shit. Probably another day of riots or something.
Maybe we could use that in some way.
Yes, Captain, let's head quickly to the Baybasin estate, yes?
Yes, and you start heading over there. And, Pig, with your help, the militia is downed rather effectively, and the Shaukar, they are singing and chanting, and they're celebrating their victory over the militia, the first of many victories they hope. And they haven't seen you yet.
Just as good. Can I swing around and see what happens over at Rakin's place through my scopes?
You can, yes. You see Rakin standing there in her balcony, looking out with the binoculars. You don't see any reaction on the mask, of course, but you would assume that she's not exactly pleased with what's going on. You can hear the sound of spaceships, aircraft of some kind, that's moving in this direction.
I am gonna try and either keep this position, depending on if No, I'm gonna try and change position to somewhere else. And I need to try and get back into contact with Jasmine in some way. Maybe I can take to the back streets and get back to that bar and see if she's there.
You do, and you move towards you move towards Misan's cantina, and intercepting you on the way there is indeed Jasmina. And she nods to you. You did what you said you would.
Look, you don't owe me anything, but some people that I work for, they want Rakeen taken. Not killed, but taken. Do you think that's something we could accomplish?
Of course we will take her alive. She's worth a lot of money, you know. The Birbasils are rich. We're going to need that for when we run this place. It's not cheap running a mine, you know. We will take her alive, don't you worry about that. But, listen, you have done quite a lot for us. Is there anything that we can do for you? We are in your debt.
I could just use some extra cash, I guess.
Alright, if it's beer that you want, we shall ensure that you get that. I'll come see you at the cantina. You can be there tomorrow morning, and then you will see the new order in place here.
Sounds fantastic. Look, one more thing. I gotta ask, do you know anything about about Akbar Arthur and the transportation of people that he has been doing through his crawlers around these lands?
I know who he employs to do that. Ramses Jackals is a group that he utilizes. They tend to work for the Birbasils sometimes as well. They're people who we are going to deal with. They're part of the list of the people who will be put up against the wall after the revolution has happened, and it seems as if the revolution has begun, so yes, I think I can find out that for you if you would like.
Yeah, I would like to know where they've taken their transports recently.
It's a curious request, but I will grant it. Now I have a revolution to win, she says, and she starts to move towards Birbasil's compound.
She's moving straight there. Okay,
Seems
well, I'm gonna let her start walking a bit, and then I'm gonna try and follow.
You follow, and Farouk and Carlo, you were moving towards Birbasil's as well.
Yes. As we are moving towards Birbasil's, I'm looking around. Am I getting a feel for what the hell's going on? It seems, according to me at least, that suddenly something is going on in some part of the town, and what's happening as we approach the estate?
Well, as you're moving through the city, you are noticing that the people are rising up. They were rising up before as well in that demonstration, but they seem to have more courage now. There's fighting going on in many places, and you hear the sound of Vulcan carbines being fired, and various more primitive weapons as well. It's basically turning into a minor war zone, and you find yourself moving from cover to cover. Never really in direct danger of being shot, but it is not a particularly pleasant place to be right now. But you're able to move forward towards Birbasil's compound, and on the way there you spot Pig.
I kind of get Farouk into a safe zone, and as I suddenly just see Pig, I'm like, Pig, what the fuck are you doing just walking around? Quick, over here, over here!
Yeah, run over to them. Shit, what a mess. It all started breaking out of a sudden.
I know, I admit, Captain, I didn't fucking think these people were this organized. How the hell are they making so much progress?
It's probably been long brewing in the background, so... And we just happened to walk in at the climax.
Yes, the question now is, how are we gonna get what we need from Birbasil? I mean...
I think the place to be is actually where they're going. I think that's where they're going. The only way to make this happen is to follow it and the action, and maybe we can step in at some point.
Follow where?
Step into
to
what?
The Birbasil estate. Maybe we could...
Look, Pig, first of all, we don't know where you've been, but I want to quickly speed you up to things. We were on the way to Birbasil. We kind of ran into a bit of a dead end, and again, I sort of look around and duck as shots go off. And we were going to try and find out if we could get some information from her. Gonna be slightly tricky now. There's a revolution heading in her direction.
I don't think she will be taking visitors at this point, sadly.
Unless we save her, of course, from the revolution.
Do we even want to?
I give Pig this incredulous stare of, what? Also, where the hell have you been? Did you even find the Sugoi? Although, to be honest, luckily it seems like we're not going to need them after all. It seems like the locals didn't even need Sugoi help.
Yeah, I tried to reason with them, but they turned out they were all bastards, just like you. And now we just gotta help the winning side. I mean, we should go to the estate now.
I don't know what we can even gain from going there, Pig. I've no idea. If we only had a location to go to and transport, it would...
Wait, okay. No, I have an idea. Leave it all to me. If we quickly get there now... Okay, Pig, your idea is crazy. Maybe it works. We pretend to be some people sent by the Syndicate to get her out of there. And then, while we've got her, she's probably not going to have much security. We'll turn on her, get the information we need, and then throw her to these people. Get the fuck out of this place.
Yeah, sure. But maybe we don't even need to trick her. Maybe we just need to show up and be a helping hand of sorts.
Well, we are going to need to trick her, Pig. She's not going to trust 3 random people who've just walked in who she's never met before. Think, use your head.
Everybody knows that she's in power here. She's going to... And I duck for another salvo of bullets flying by. Everyone knows that she's the one in power and the one with real connections, the one that you would want to help, right?
Well, Captain, what do you say? I do agree with Pig. We need to move now. What
Let's move to the Baybasin residence and see what's happening there to begin with.
And you move to the Baybasin estate, and there's a minor siege going on there. Rakeen has called forth gunships that she seems to have command over, and some drones as well that are shooting at this group of Shaukar rebels who have surrounded the place and are lobbing mortars into the compound. It's really turned into a war, and it's starting to turn into a bit of a stalemate. Rakeen has pulled back her forces to the compound, and you assume that she's probably starting to call for help from the syndicate, from the Baybasin family. You wonder how long this will take.
Can you scramble her signal, Carlo?
As we move towards the estate, I'm gonna try to trail off and disconnect from the group without them noticing.
I think with so many things going on, and they're focusing on considering jamming signals and the like, it's not difficult to disappear.
Yes, I will look down to my signal to start indeed doing as the captain says, and as I look up, I'm like, Pig? Pig? What the? Fucking Pig!
Pig's probably just watching our backs, don't worry.
They better be. I'm a little concerned on this one, Captain. I think they are seeing this all as some sort of glory heist thing. I don't know, whatever.
I must admit, I'm not totally comfortable with the way Pig's been disappearing lately, and well, just focus on this now.
I sigh and start focusing on the task. Internally, I do trust Pig, so really, I'm not actually that suspicious, I think to myself. I just really hope they're not showing off for some stupid reason. They really would be better off here helping us, but they've gone off and I don't have time to worry about them.
And yes, Pig, what do you do?
I'm gonna once again try to find a place to attack from, and I'm gonna try and start taking down the drones. And maybe if I can even get a shot at a pilot or someone in the one of these attack ships, I'm gonna try and bring those down as well and help the revolution that's going on.
And your help is greatly appreciated, and it's helping the rebels considerably. They started to be outgunned there for a little while. Meanwhile, Carlo, you are trying to find a way to jam Rakin's signals.
Yes.
You found a way to connect into the city's network, and yes, this is going to be rather difficult, but you can give it an attempt.
And I'm beginning the process, and I'm just getting really distracted from all the gunshots, all the shooting. I kind of feel I'm not making any progress, and I do just let out a quick prayer to the icons, praying as always to the Faceless One to get off his ass and give me some luck. And that time I roll 1 success.
You think you're at least able to scramble the signal a bit and make communications spotty. It is, however, a very tall order to completely jam the communications here simply by connecting into the network. You do what you can basically with the circumstances. So you're all supporting the rebel side here and this siege that is going on, and the siege continues throughout the night, with both sides firing at each other and people dying, and you see people starting to leave the city. There's river barges that are taking them down the Ramisha, leaving Baybasin behind, and probably fearing that this will escalate further. And it becomes night. What do you do?
I give the captain a bit of a look, as we've been waiting here for hours. I've said to them that we only can move forward when there's a safe way, and there hasn't been. I'm growing really impatient. I'm sorry, Captain, we can't go forward while there's still gunships, but we need to get in. This is the only lead we have. If Burbasil's dead, we're never going to find out what happened to... Unless, of course, I don't know, we make friends with the new people, but I don't know why these people would want to help a bunch of strangers.
I'm sorry, Carlo. I must have nodded off a bit. I'm just so tired. What do you say? Moving on?
At this point, I try communicating with Pig, who's been absent from the radio for a few hours. And once again, I'm just like, Pig, are you there? You better be finding a way in.
And you hear me breathing. And yeah, I'm here. There's some soldiers here. They're badly wounded. I couldn't just stand by. I'm trying to help them out with my medicurgy skills.
Pig, it's time to get back here and help us actually do things. You've been very distracted this whole bloody time. You're not even doing anything. Oh, great, you're helping a soldier not get wounded. We need to get into the place. If Burbasil dies, we lose our leads. We're going to be in a town full of revolutionaries. Our oven person, Art here, his whole place was emptied out. They've been clearing their tracks. This revolution, if anything, is going to help them totally cover their tracks.
I just give an affirmative over the radio, and then I sort of wrap up what I've been doing, because that's what I've been doing too. I've been looking after a few of those that have been wounded on this side, and I'm going to try to make my way back to the group. But as I do, I will have a look at the progress that's been made and if there is any other way in to the place.
It is locked up rather tight. They're making progress though, and you think eventually this place will fall unless reinforcements arrive to change the balance of power again. But the rebels seem to be in good spirits. They're finally moving on their hated enemy. And you've been helping this soldier to patch him up. And just Mina comes close to you again. She's also been firing against the compound, and she nods to you and, thank you. I didn't expect you to stick around this long.
Well, I've been into revolutions before. I know how these things go. I just couldn't let you guys walk in all alone on this. I mean, morale seems to be good.
Yeah. We're rounding up our enemies one after one. Hey, those people I told you about. We have one of them already now. One of the jackals.
Yeah?
One of my guys have him over there. I thought you might want to talk to him. You wanted some information about Arthur, right?
I did, yeah. Thanks. I'm gonna bring in my colleagues for this. And I pick up my communicator and I say, hey guys, one of the rebels have captured one of the people that are, doing things for Arda. You better get over here. We can interrogate him. Get a track.
That's great. Where are you? We'll come to you.
And I'll give them my location. I'm just southwest of the compound. It's a bit of the calmer area where the wounded people are.
Carl?
All right. I suppose that's something. Someone who actually works for Artir. I'm surprised there's still some of them around.
I think this is better than trying to get into Baybasin.
I'd be inclined to agree. As I follow behind Farouk, by the way, ever since this revolution stuff started happening properly, I've been doing two things. I've been keeping a close eye out for any cameras of any kind, and I've taken my turban off and wrapped it around my face to try and cover my face and look a little less obvious.
Mm-hmm. Then that is what you have done. And Jasmina shows you the way to this man that they have, and you come up to a wall where 4 people have just been executed. And she looks to you and kind of has a bit of a shocked face. Sorry. You wanted to talk to him, right? I guess my men were a little bit overeager.
And I look over. Is he dead?
I think so. She points to him. It's that guy there. That's Ramses himself.
The one who's dead? Or what?
Yeah. They're all very dead. Sorry.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play the campaign Mercy of the Icons for Coriolis, which is published by Free League. Joining us in the role of Farouk was our dear friend, Jenny Jungevall. The music was created by AlphaZone and Sable Sun, and was used with permission from their label, Cryochamber. Please check out cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for more of their lovely dark ambient. We also use the official Coriolis soundtrack by Stars on a Black Sea. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, Camilla, Bob Lange, Cameron, Graham Barey, Doug Thomson, and Lily for their generous support. We would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult of Divinity Lost, Call of Cthulhu, and Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay there, as well as binge the rest of Emissary Lost. You can also get early and raw access to all of our recordings and hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, and that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember that the song leads us to the truth under a great winged shadow.